Good day. This is going to be a really quick little video just to give you a history of triangulation because it's a pretty cool thing. So the idea with triangulation is if you know where you are, you can then map out where other places are. Or you can do it the other way around, where you're not quite sure where you are, but you have some really good line of sights to known places. You can pinpoint exactly where you are. So this is an example of using triangulation to figure out where you are on a map. In class, I would actually take a map and show you how to do this, where if you have a topo map in front of you, you can orient the topo map to point. So say I'm not sure whether I'm in the Shining Wood Bay or the Mule Bay of a lake. So I can see, though, this high rock, and I know that that is High Rock Mountain. So then I can stand with my map facing the High Rock Mountain so that I'm standing and I know, okay, so this is High Rock on the map, that's High Rock. So then that's the direction my map is. So that I can hold my map and go, well, if that's High Rock in that direction, then over there, that hill must be second High Rock. And then you can figure out, okay, so that's the direction you use your compass and be like, okay, so it's this many degrees to, it's 20 degrees to second High Rock and 270 degrees to High Rock. Then you can put that on your map and draw those lines and pinpoint where you are based on those sites. And this is how people mapped the world. So early geographers went around Britain and mapped out all the peaks. So here's another example on your topo map where I know I'm at that star and I can see these high points and I can use them to pinpoint where I am. And it's called triangulation because you're creating a triangle. The star is one point of the triangle and those two of those high peaks are the other points of that triangle. And this is how they mapped. Before we had satellites, the scientists in the UK mapped the entire island. And they did this by going to really high points and they actually built cement structures with metal discs on top. And from that point, they would set up a spotting scope and then they would align it with another scope, use a compass to figure out exactly how many degrees each of those things were. And then they would, on a piece of paper, line it up and draw it out on a piece of paper. And where those angles met, they knew that from the point they were standing, that mountain was 260 degrees from this point, and they drew it on their map. And then they go climb another mountain and be like, okay, so that same mountain is now 20 degrees. And they draw a line, they knew where it was. And by drawing all these lines and pinpointing all these spots, they made a very accurate map of the UK. And they did this for lots of countries, France, Ireland. And if you climb to the tops of these mountains in these countries, you will find those markers. And here's an example of one of those markers. They actually built, like in some places there's cement and brass, in other places there's stone. This is one on the top of a mountain in Wales. I took this picture of my friends. We were on a mountain climbing adventure. We went to the highest peaks in the Lake District in the UK. And then we did in other weekends we did other ones, but this particular one's in the Lake District. This is a benchmark is what they call them in the US. And it's just on a rock. We don't build the cement structures very often in North America. Here's one in North Bay. This particular one, oh wait, maybe this is the North Bay one. Maybe that was just a Canadian one. This is the North Bay one. Because this is definitely, it says right there, benchmark 663201. This is benchmark 663,201. It's down in Ferris, which I always thought was odd that it's not at a high point, but maybe they're using the lake as a marker. Here's all of the benchmarks in the Ontario sort of area. They obviously can't see each other like they can in Europe. I think that is because these were placed later on. They weren't quite as worried about mapping out precisely where everything was. By then they had airplanes. But yeah, it's a kind of cool system. And we're going to use triangulation to create our own maps.